Hi everyone, my name's Jennifer Kent and I want to welcome you to TKGA's first ever knit along. I'm super excited and honored to share with you my Pick Your Pattern cardigan, which is a modified drop shoulder Ruana style silhouette. And it's really great for all levels, whatever level you're at in knitting. I think there might be something for you. Like the name suggests, you're going to have to make some choices as you go along, and depending on what you pick is really what's going to make the pattern your own. In order to get started, you're going to have to gather some materials, and I think the first choice you have to make is really going to be the hardest one, and that is which color of Plain Air by Pearl Soho you're going to decide on. No choice is wrong because all of the colors are fabulous and they're all going to be wonderful, but it's going to be hard to pick which one to go with. After you have your yarn together, the next thing we need to get are needles. And although this cardigan is worked back and forth, I prefer to use circular needles. Even when I work back and forth, it's just a personal preference. But if you like straight needles, by all means, use straight needles. Now, you will need at least one size needle, possibly two, depending on which cast on you decide to go with. The alternating long tail cast on for 2x2 rib, you'll only really need one needle. I use a size 6, but of course, do your gauge swatch and figure out what needle works best for you. You might need a different size. And if you're gonna do the Italian cast on for 2x2 rib, I suggest also using a needle 2 sizes smaller than the needle that you are using for the body, because it gives you a really nice, clean, tidy edge to that cast on. So once you have your needles together, there are a couple more things you're going to need. You will find that stitch markers are going to be useful. These are the simple circular kind that just slide on. I like these little rubber ones, but they come in different materials. Whatever works for you. You might have some on hand, that's fine. Then what you'll also find helpful is a stitch holder. Now, by all means, if you don't have any stitch holders, you want to just use waste yarn, that's perfectly fine. You just need to have a way to save your stitches for later, for when you join panel pieces together. I personally have a ton of these lying around, so I just grab one when I need it. The other thing you will need are some removable markers, and these are the kind that clip open and closed. We're going to mark our shoulders with these so that it's easier to center our sleeves when we're joining the sweater together. And the last thing you will need is a tapestry needle. And this is my favorite tapestry needle because it's got this sort of flexible opening that I can adjust to fit the size of yarn that I'm using. But really, any tapestry needle you have is perfectly fine. So that's really all of the supplies that you're going to need to get this project started. Of course, you will need to wind your yarn into balls. And my last suggestion is to print out the pattern and highlight all of your choices ahead of time. Are you going to do the long sleeve or the short sleeve? Are you going to do the cable stitch or the lace? And once you make all those choices, go through the pattern and highlight not only your size, but the portion of the pattern that you're going to follow. And that will really be helpful in keeping track of where you are and what your next path is as you pick your pattern. So now that you've got everything together, it's time to get started, and I can't wait. Happy knitting, everyone. Let's do this.